Hmm. Let's do Okay, so it's just. It's just Rumble that doesn't want. Hmm. Oh, I've had the mic on the whole time. Ugh. Wait, what? This isn't live anymore. QY. Okay, open up X then. There it goes. Says subscribe to premium to chat. Interesting. Oh, no, that's not right. Here we go. Oh, fuck. Okay. Goni. Fix my camera. Hang on, just give me a few more moments, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be live shortly. Bing. Boom. Good morning, America. Name that movie line. Anyhow, welcome in. Really appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in. Happy Tuesday. Wow, what a day today, because we got a lot of good stories and a lot of good stuff coming to you guys live. I do want to apologize up front to every single one of you guys. I've been anticipating more of this show coming to you guys live. I have just been kind of not my best self these past couple days, and actually these past couple weeks, to be honest with you. So, let's see. What am I trying to do here? Oh, yes. Going to try to update you guys on the recent free agency, because free agency opened up in the NFL. We also got the World Baseball Classic. We got a lot to cover today, including MLB spring training and recent standing changes for the NBA and current predictions that I have come postseason for the NBA. We got March Madness coming up. We got Selection Sunday coming up on Sunday, and I think we got some politic news that we're going to be talking about later today as well. So a lot to cover. So I hope you guys are ready for the ride. I also forgot to hit start recording. Oh my goodness. What am I doing? I'm screwing up. Anyhow, to start, we're going to cover as much as we can of the NFL free agency day one that's opened up yesterday. As you guys probably didn't know or already know, but I'm going to be still covering it from last week anyway. Get out of my face, please. Stupid thing that I don't need to have open right now. Okay. Anyhow, Max Crosby, former Raider defensive end, traded to the Ravens for a couple of first-round picks, and probably one of the biggest trades so far. Other than, obviously, you guys have probably seen some of the stuff from yesterday. Let me just see if I'm going to try to cover everything from beginning to end here. Let's see. Let me get all the way down to the bottom here, because the Rams are losing a bunch of... the Seahawks have lost some players, some pretty key players at that. Kenneth Walker ended up going to the Chiefs. Let's see, Isaiah Likely going to the Giants. So a lot of moves. And Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker is signing with the Chiefs. That's as of 21 hours ago, according to NFL on X. Let me just switch this over real quick so you guys can see what I'm looking at here. This is all courtesy of NFL social media page on X, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. So if you guys are having any questions or wanting to follow along, don't hesitate to head on over to the NFL X page, and you'll see exactly what I'll be talking about for the most part there. Just double checking, making sure everything is live on their end there. For some reason that doesn't want to be working right there, so that's fine. Let's see. Let's make sure we cover this from the beginning here, because Cade Otton's getting re-signed by the Bucks. Alec Pierce getting extended? I thought I saw... Or maybe that was somebody else from the Colts that got traded. Oh, that's right. It was Pittman that got traded. So they're extending Alec Pierce. The Colts are anyway. Wide receiver, four-year deal, $114 million contract extension. So really good bag getter for Alec Pierce. Bunch of re-signing. Patriots signing Draymond Jones, former Ravens defensive end, 3-year deal, $39.5 million. We already discussed that. I want to say, I don't know how to say his first name, but Zacchaeus, wide receiver formerly from the Bears, is now signing with the Falcons. And looks like Travis Kelce is going to be returning to the Chiefs for a 14th season. Sheldon Rankins has agreed to terms with the Houston Texans and a $12 million guarantee, 2-year contract. And then that's it for... That's from the beginning. Eric Stokes re-signing with the Raiders, cornerback, 3-year deal, $30 million contract with $20 million guaranteed for the corner out of the Vegas Raiders. Already talked about Kenneth Walker. Already talked about those guys. Jalen Watson signing with the Rams. While also, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but the Rams ended up trading for Trent McDuffie, so that's a huge, that was a huge trade that they ended up getting from that, along with, I mean, they just got another corner from the Chiefs as well, so I mean, that's 2 huge defensive backs that the Rams have been looking for. And I guess kind of needed because, I mean, they were a really good team. They just needed those final pieces, and I think they got that defensively with Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson, so that's a good sign there for the Rams looking into next year. Jalen Phillips, linebacker out of Philadelphia, is now signing with the Carolina Panthers, 4-year to $120 million deal out of the 4-year contract with the Carolina Panthers. So we'll see Jalen Phillips in a different uniform again. Because I want to see he was formerly with the Dolphins and then got traded to the Eagles, and then now he's signing with the Panthers. So that's probably a really good pickup for the Panthers as well, because them winning the division last season and now picking up a pretty key linebacker, Jalen Phillips. Carolina Panthers might be scary. Michael Pittman got traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. It does not say the rest of the trade package deal. And it looks like Malik Willis is signing with the Miami Dolphins, so I think that's a big win for the Dolphins here because, I mean, from what I've heard, it looks like 3-year deal, $65.5 million, $45 million fully guaranteed. That's crazy. But also, just looking at, or at least hearing from what he did in previous seasons, last season in a couple different games, it looks like this is probably going to be a good signing for the Dolphins. But that, I mean, as of right now, it's going to be what remains to be seen, just because who knows from one year to the next if, players regress or players end up continuing to play well. We'll see. Stupid thing, go live. Let's see. Isaiah Likely to the Giants. Demario Davis to the Jets. Mitchell Trubisky, which I kind of was surprised by this, but I mean, I didn't even realize he was still in the league. But that's because he hasn't really been playing as a starter. He's been playing as a backup and now is going over to the Titans, it looks like. And it probably is going to be a quarterback battle between him and Cam Ward. So that's probably not much of a battle between him and Cam Ward, but at least he'll be backing up Cam Ward, which is nice. Austin Hooper, tight end to the Atlanta Falcons. Kenneth Gainwell, running back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh, this is a big one. Alec Anzalone, formerly with the Detroit Lions, signing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well. So that's a huge pickup for the Bucs. Kobe Bryant signing with the Chicago Bears, so that's a loss for Seattle, and I think a pretty big win for the Bears there. Amik Robinson signing with the Commanders. Cade Mays signing with the Lions. Joseph Osai, I want to say defense and defensive tackle. Signing with the Jets as well. I don't know. I don't know if of the two franchises that are kind of like low ball, who knows how good or how much better the Jets are going to be compared to the Bengals come next season. But, I mean, the Bengals have a whole lot of offensive line needs to cover. Center Tyler Lindenbaum signing with the Vegas Raiders. 3-year deal, $81 million, $60 million guaranteed for the Hall of Fame center out of Baltimore, or formerly out of Baltimore, and now is going over to the Raiders. So big pickup for the Raiders, in my opinion, especially since if the rumors are true that the Raiders are going to be picking up Fernando Mendoza with the first pick of the draft, because it sounds like from every single talk show that I've listened to, it sounds like that's going to be the case. Yeah, that would be the best of both worlds when it comes to a center that knows the game and, you know, has been in the game for a really long time, can really help Fernando Mendoza with, you know, getting settled in and basically, in a sense, welcoming Mendoza to the league, basically. Tyler Algier signing with the Cardinals, so that's a pretty big pickup for Cardinals, in my opinion, because Algier basically had a breakout, I mean, I guess a silent breakout season, if you will, just because it wasn't very flashy, or it wasn't as flashy as Saquon Barkley's last season, but still a pretty breakout season nonetheless. I don't really have all the stats off the top of my head in terms of what his stats looked like, but I mean, the NFC West is still looking crazy. Travis Etienne signing with the Saints. Wan'Dale Robinson signing with the Titans. Looks like it is looks like it's a 4-year deal, $78 million worth, with $38 million guaranteed. Travis Etienne looks like it's a 4-year deal, $52 million deal, or $1 million deal. Jalen Naylor going to the Raiders, wide receiver out of the Minnesota Vikings, now is a Las Vegas Raider. David Edwards, I don't know the position off the top of my head, is now going to the New Orleans Saints. Mike Evans, Hall of Famer Mike Evans, formerly a Tampa Bay Buccaneers, now signing with the San Francisco 49ers. 3-year deal. Don't really know the money line off the top of my head. I'll have to check Schefter's X page to clarify, which I'll probably do that here in a little bit. And actually... Boom. Okay, there we go. Continuing, Jamel Dean, cornerback from the Buccaneers, is signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers as well. A lot of moving pieces from yesterday. Devin Bush signing, or linebacker Devin Bush, I want to say formerly Cleveland Brown, is now heading over to Chicago. A lot of goodbye wishes. Jahan Dotson, former Philadelphia Eagle as a wide receiver, signing with the Atlanta Falcons. Zion Johnson, former Charger, now signing with the Cleveland Browns. John Franklin Myers, former Bronco, signing with the Titans. Charlie Kolar signing with the Chargers. Tremaine Edmonds signing with the Giants. Cordell Flott, cornerback from the Giants, is now signing with the Titans to a 3-year deal, $45 million, $32 million fully guaranteed. Brian Cook, former Chief, now signing with the Cincinnati Bengals. Safety, so he's on defense. 3-year deal, $40.25 million. 3 years, that's crazy. I don't even know how old that guy is, but anyhow, pretty good move for the Bengals in my opinion. Get some veteran presence on the defensive side of the ball for the Bengals, I think. J.K. Dobbins, running back, re-signing with the Broncos, excuse me. Alontae Taylor, is that how you say his name? I want to say that that's how you say his name. Anyhow, Alontae Taylor, 3-year deal, signing with the Titans. Marcus Mariota re-signing with the Commanders. Odafe Owe, formerly a Charger, now signing as a Commander. Boye Mafe, formerly a Seahawk, signing with the Cincinnati Bengals. Tua Tagovailoa, formerly a Dolphin, now signing with the Atlanta Falcons. Hopefully he can stay healthy as a Falcon, because that's kind of a crazy move in my opinion, but I guess they were going to be moving off of him anyway because they ended up going to, what's his name? Quinn Ewers later in the season, so that kind of makes sense. Cardinals also signing Gardner Minshew. Laramie Tunzel going to the Commanders. And I think that's all that we... Oh, nope, Dre Greenlaw. Dre Greenlaw got released by the Broncos. Noah Fant signing with the Saints. Nakobe Dean signing with the Raiders. Quay Walker signing with the Raiders. Holy cow, Raiders are making some crazy moves. They just signed 2 linebackers in free agency. Sheesh. Rashid Shaheed staying in Seattle. Kenny Pickett signing with the Carolina Panthers. Reed Blankenship signing with the Texans. Kendrick Bourne signing with the Cardinals. Devin Lloyd signing with the Carolina Panthers. Alohi Gilman signing with the Chiefs. Tyquan Thornton re-signing with the Chiefs. Elijah Vera Tucker signing with the Patriots. And that is the most recent that's the most recent lineup coming out of free agency this morning as of right now. Day 2 is just barely getting started and barely getting underway. I just had to take a look at why is this taking so long to load? What is happening here? Here we go. That is not recent. Let me get Adam Schefter. Nope. Oh, come on. What? Really? Ooh. 36 minutes ago. 3-time Pro Bowl long snapper Andrew DePaulo is returning to the Minnesota Vikings on a 1-year deal, fully guaranteed, a $1.725 million deal. Just in day one in free agency from the Raiders. Because if we take a look at their roster real quick, of course my thing wants to take a long time to load, so it's going to take a second. Let me just take a look at the Raiders real quick. Doubling there's a there's a talk show host that I listen to sometimes, with some of the recent moves, including new head coach and Clint Kubiak. A lot of people, like I was kind of saying earlier, projecting that Fernando Mendoza from Indiana is going to be the new quarterback for the Vegas Raiders, with them signing Lindenbaum at center and picking up a couple of different linebackers. I believe one was from Green Bay. I can't remember the other one off the top of my head. But okay, it looks like they didn't update their signing transactions yet, because for some reason ESPN's roster is not up to date, it looks like. Huh. Interesting. Okay. A little odd. Maybe they didn't finalize the deals yet. That's why the transactions haven't gone through yet. But anyhow, day 2, first week of free agency. But yeah, kind of what I was saying earlier. Or no, maybe it was a different team that he was talking about, and it wasn't the Raiders. Yeah, no, it wasn't the Raiders that I was thinking of. I think the Raiders, for the most part, they've made some good moves in day 1. We'll see what happens day 2. But if day 1 was any indicator, day 2 there might be not as many moves for the Raiders. But I would personally say that they were pretty good moves to make it so that their roster ends up, being at least a little bit competitive in the division that they're in. Especially since they got the Chiefs, Broncos, and Chargers. I mean, you got to face Mahomes twice, you got to face Bo Nix twice, and you got to face Herbert twice, which you got a younger quarterback in Bo Nix who's showing promise to, be at the level, if not at the very next level. We'll see what happens this next season with the Broncos, but I would be willing to bet you that Bo Nix is probably going to have another breakout quarterback season, kind of like how he did this last season, basically leading the Broncos to an AFC championship outside of him getting injured right after the division round, which basically set the Patriots up to basically go to the Super Bowl, if you guys didn't remember. But I mean, one way or the other, we'll see what happens, but I think that with the way that the Raiders are going right now, I don't think that they're going to look like they're the worst, one of the worst teams in the league come end of next season. I would just predict that right now. I'm not going to say that they're going to double their win total per se, but no data available for 2026 yet. Oh, that's right, because they don't reveal the schedule until, like... I don't think they reveal the schedule until, like, dang near draft day or something like that. Anyhow. But yeah, we'll just be keeping an eye on the Shefty page here. See if there's any other big moves or any other updates. Same with the NFL Live here, or NFL page as well. But as we keep an eye on that, what else did I have covering today? Because I don't really have any breaking news at the moment. Oh yes, World Baseball Classic updates. Let's get over to here. Yeah, so U.S. won last night against Mexico. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Let me just double check to make sure I'm not missing any chats at all. Appreciate the follows over on Kick, by the way. And really appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in to the live. We are, or I'm going to at least try to be live every single day outside of Sunday. Sundays are the one days I'm not going to be live. But anyhow, getting into World Baseball Classic, we're about, a week? Almost a full week in. And U.S. is undefeated. Great Britain and Brazil have been eliminated. No surprise there. I honestly was surprised that Israel had a team playing in the World Baseball Classic. That was probably the craziest thing that I saw. Because, I mean, I knew Canada had a team. I was kind of surprised that Freddie Freeman isn't playing for Canada. I thought he was actually going to be playing for the U.S., but he doesn't and isn't playing in the World Baseball Classic this year, which is unfortunate. But yeah, the U.S. ended up beating Mexico. I can't remember the final score off the top of my head. Also, this thing is not updating very well. Maybe I can just do a quick X search real quick. World Baseball. World Baseball Classic. There we go. Let's just hit the follow on this real quick. Japan ended up beating, what is that? Oh my gosh, I can't remember that flag off the top of my head. What is that, Pool D? No, Pool C. Czech Republic? I believe that's how you say that, right? Czech Republic? Team Japan and Ethiopia. Oh wow, that must have been his last game. That's crazy. Andraj Satoria. 4.2 innings, 6 hits, no runs, no walks, 3 Ks. Wow. Solid. Hiroto Takashi went 4.2 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 5 Ks last night. against the Czech Republic. Where is that Mexico-U.S. final score? So I'm assuming that's what everybody in here wants to know about, right? U.S. plays Italy tonight. Or maybe the final score was here and I was just completely oblivious. Yes, 5-3. Thank you. Oh my gosh. I'm having myself a wonderful day today, aren't I? Jeez. Oh my gosh. I'm completely flubbing right now. But yeah, Korea ended up being Austria 7-2. I believe that's Colombia beat Panama 4-3. Yep, Dominican Republic ended up being Israel 10-1. I mean, yeah. For all intents and purposes, for Israel to even have a team in the World Baseball Classic, that's just crazy. I didn't even know that this might sound so bad, but I didn't even know that the Jews actually liked playing baseball. That sounds so bad. Oh man. Some people are probably going to take that out of context, but whatever. Anyhow, Great Britain beat I can't talk anymore. Great Britain beat Brazil last night 8-1. Venezuela beat Nicaragua last night 4-0. And then Puerto Rico beat Cuba 4-1. And then obviously last night US finds a way to stay undefeated. I wonder if okay, so US plays Italy tonight. Oh, that was earlier this morning. Oh, I'm stupid. That was earlier this morning. Wow, that's crazy. Like how quickly did that go final? Oh, 2 hours ago? Or Pool C is in lock? Oh, okay. So these are like the final. These are the final games before. Okay. So they're the second to last games because you got got Canada versus Puerto Rico on 2B, Italy versus the United States on FS1. Obviously, everybody in the U.S. wants to watch the U.S., so of course they're gonna make it on a TV channel. Because probably after that they're gonna go to like a bracket of some sort. Yeah. Because it looks like Korea and Japan have already got their spots locked. And oh, interesting. Okay, so 3. So a total of like 6 more spots remain. And that would mean that as long as the U.S. wins, they got their spot on lock as well. Venezuela and Dominican Republic have a chance to lock their spots tomorrow. Puerto Rico, if they beat Canada tonight, locks a spot, I would think. And then Israel and the Netherlands are just playing this game for pride at this point. Not to throw any shade, but gotta love it. Gotta love it. I don't really know what the bracket really looks like, and I'm sure once everything gets in lock, there'll be a little tab thing that shows up for what the bracket looks like. But I'm assuming, obviously, since this is still kind of, spring training for some of the MLB players that are playing in this, that's probably going to be like a single elimination of some sort. But yeah, it's fun to be following along with a lot of this, because it sounds like some key players are playing in their final career games, which is unfortunate that we won't ever see some of these players ever again, but gotta love it. Gotta love the experience and the time that these guys have on the field and the extra moments that they share with their teammates and whatnot. Ooh, breaking news. As of 10 minutes ago, Giants signing cornerback Greg Newsome II from Jacksonville Jaguars. So that's huge. Did Adam Schefter report on this? He did not. Kind of falling behind. No, I'm just kidding. No, he's probably working on nitty gritty what those details are actually going to look like. But yeah, this is according to NFL on X, their NFL page. We're going to be keeping an eye on all of this throughout the show today. I think we'll be doing it again tomorrow as well. What I probably am going to do as well, while we're kind of just in limbo here, I'll try to see. Let me just refresh this again. Let me see if I can try to get some other breaking news. What the heck is this? This is an all-time photo. A protester shouting about the pros of immigration is interrupted by an Islamic terrorist throwing a bomb, jumping over him. Oh boy. Do we have like video of this? It's an all-time photo, but what's the... What is this? So, the video that I'm playing audio from, for those of you that are on audio, Walter Mason posted, or no, excuse me, Walter Masterson on X. This was from March 8th, so this was 2 days ago. Uh, Quote in the post says, I was in the middle of saying, as a born and raised New Yorker, we welcome everybody into this city, when he threw that over my head, is the quote on the post. But here's the audio from the video. Let me just get it from the beginning here. He's talking into the megaphone. And a guy yelled something, throwing a bomb or something. What is he? What does the guy in the background say? He basically just used the guy. That's so. What the heck? Basically used the guy with a megaphone as like a extra launch point to try to get some more air underneath whatever he threw. That's such a weird. That's such a weird interaction. What did he? What did he shout? Did anybody catch that? I was trying to like catch the background of what he was yelling, but I didn't even really. I didn't even really catch the extra, if I'm gonna be honest. Because he was shouting something, but I couldn't really make out the audio. I'm not talking, and I'm not talking about the guy with the megaphone. I'm talking about the guy that yelled something and basically utilized the guy that is holding on to the megaphone as a launch point to throw something. I mean, there's speculation that it's a bomb of some sort. Um, but such a weird interaction. Um, yeah, I don't even know what to really say at this moment. That was odd, completely odd. Anyhow, give me like 30 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. I will be right back. Um, I gotta do a couple things and grab some water real quick, so I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We will be back momentarily. Alrighty. Sorry about that, chat. Or ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate all of your guys' patience. I hope you guys are having as great of a beautiful Tuesday as where I'm at right now. Because, man, it is a beautiful day outside. And I hope you guys can enjoy the beautiful spring day that is March 10th. So, to continue into the sports realm for just a moment, just because I'm kind of a sports junkie, but also I listen to a lot of talk show hosts, not only from the political spectrum, but from the sports realm as well. There's oh geez, how do I put this? There's a lot of talk from the when we how do I want to just start this off? We'll just go into the standings real quick before I really say anything crazy. It's for the most part, I think it's that point of the season in the NBA where there's a lot of clear front runners and clear, okay, we're looking to utilize the draft or try to find a way to make it so that we have a high draft stock. That's what certain teams are looking at when it comes to this point of the season, because you got a decent amount of the league that's already continuing to win games and stuff like that, and obviously with Jason Tatum coming back for the Boston Celtics is huge. Is huge for Boston, not only because they've had a really good record without Jason Tatum on the floor, but for him to come back, I believe he had his second game, I want to say it was I want to say his second game back was like 2 days ago, and his first game back was like 3 days ago or something like that. I could be completely wrong about this, so don't quote me on this, but now that he is back, he's probably still on like some on like a minutes restriction or something like that, but with the way that Boston has been playing even without Jason Tatum, and now that he's back, it's a you could say that coming out of the East, there is a huge possibility that it's going to be Boston and Detroit in the Eastern Conference Finals, and it's probably going to be one of those two teams coming out of there. But outside of that, I think you could also make a case for the New York Knicks as well, because not only were they able to find a way to, even though they've had a couple of losses, they've had a pretty solid February for the most part, and the way that just the New York Knicks roster is, as long as they can keep the chemistry, they should be fine. I mean, obviously, depending on how much lower they drop, they could be facing the Pistons in the first round of the playoffs, which is not great, because the Pistons have had the Knicks number for, I mean, basically the entire season, because if you take a look at the season series between Pistons and the Knicks, let me just see if I can't find. Yeah, they were able to beat them twice. That's 2-0. Let me just take a look real quick. That was 1. 2. Well, they've only played the Knicks twice so far. That's crazy that they only had to play them twice. Or they're only going to have to play them twice. Oh no, they played them 3 times. And won all 3 of them, okay. Yeah, and some of these weren't even, as far as I recall, some of these weren't even close in terms of their score. That was like almost a 30-point difference there. 30-point difference there. And that one was probably the closest one, which is, if I'm doing quick math, like 15. 15 points separated them in that last contest. So, I mean, again, there's valid concern from the Knicks camp in terms of whether or not they're contenders this year or not. And obviously, one of the talk show hosts, Stephen A. Smith, is a very huge Knicks fan. I've listened to a few of his takes, and pretty valid. I mean, obviously, there's a difference between regular season and postseason. One reason why you play every single game is because, I mean, very early on in the season, the Oklahoma City Thunder were looking to basically break the win record. When it comes to the last team to do that was the Golden State Warriors back in, I believe it was 2015, 2016. And for those of you that don't remember how that went down, I believe that season, Golden State Warriors ended up going, I believe it was 82 games. I'm trying to remember the record off the top of my head, and I can't right now. Let's see, 2015, 2016. Freaking spell. Golden State Warriors. Yeah, 73-9 was the record. And very early on in the season, the Thunder was looking to pass that. I mean, now they've got 15 losses, so now that's not going to be happening. But what happened the rest of the way, Golden State Warriors ended up making the NBA Finals. Ended up going against the Cleveland Cavaliers in that NBA Finals. And I want to say it was game 3 or 4 when Draymond got himself ejected, and from there, and yeah, from there the rest is history. LeBron and the Cavs end up going back from down 3-1 to end up winning the NBA Finals, which, end of the day, typical Draymond Green fashion, finds himself a way to make some dumb moves to get himself ejected. But anyhow, that all aside, getting back to what I was going to say is that there's a difference between obviously the regular season, why you keep playing the games out, and the postseason, because I mean, obviously, as of right now, going back to what I was saying, the Detroit Pistons have had the Knicks number so far in this season, and I mean, who knows when they meet in the playoffs, but if both the Pistons and the Knicks end up meeting in the playoffs, which is probably going to happen, that is going to be a series to watch along with whoever the Boston Celtics end up playing, because, I mean, especially since, you know, I mean, it could be even a Boston Celtics Cleveland Cavaliers or Boston Celtics New York Knicks. Like, I mean, there's a whole bunch of, I mean, I think that the Eastern Conference, in terms of their top four, is way more competitive than the Western Conference top four. Because right now, it is 100% clear, not just because of the record, but just because of the way that these teams, these young teams especially, have just been playing top-notch level for a majority of the season at this point. I mean, obviously the Spurs have had the Thunder's number for a while in this season as well, and who knows what this matchup is going to look like come Western Conference Finals. But I mean, it in terms of the comparison between conferences and the competitiveness of each conference, right? Like, especially with James Harden going to the Cleveland Cavaliers now, you got Donovan Mitchell and James Harden as the backcourt tandem, backcourt tandem. That's what it's called, right? I mean, any four of these teams can come out of the East, and I wouldn't be surprised by it, because, I mean, Cleveland Cavaliers made some moves to get James Harden. New York Knicks has a solid lineup across the board and even has some bench players that can, at any point in time, pretty much put up 20 points. Boston Celtics not only have Jaylen Brown that has been a baller all season, but also just got Jason Tatum back. And, I mean, obviously, Detroit Pistons with a very young team. Some people have been touting a Bad Boy Pistons 2.0 in a sense. Though, I mean, obviously, they were touting it probably, like, I want to say a month ago. I don't know if they're still touting that now. But, yeah, just, I mean, I think the Eastern Conference is a lot more competitive right now than the Western Conference, just because I think Oklahoma City and the Spurs just look to be the clear front runners heading into midway through March. I'll try to, watch a few more games as well, because I kind of had a little bit of a drop off of watching some games, so maybe my mind will be changed, but yeah, it's not to say that these teams that are like that are from 5th to like 10 aren't like good teams. I mean, they're solid teams, and they're solid enough to be at 500 or above 500, but I don't think that. I mean, especially if you look at the Lakers with Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic and LeBron James, like there is not a clear sign, in my opinion, that the Lakers are gonna be a title contender at all. It's it's a tough sell for me. Um, just because I mean, and I've been hearing this a lot from a bunch of different commentators, and I really agree with them when they say that each. I mean, there was success with Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic at the very beginning of the season without LeBron James. I'm not saying LeBron James is the issue. I'm not saying that LeBron James needs to go, yada yada, but something hasn't gone right for the Lakers over the past few months that has put them from what was the top 3 in the Western Conference to now top 5. They've dropped down to 5th since then. And a lot has happened in a couple of months, obviously. I mean, Austin Reeves has had an injury that has kept him sidelined for a little bit. Same with Luka Doncic. He's had an injury here and there from what I've seen. I could be completely wrong about, the time frame and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not really going to be touting time frame, but when you take a look at how the Lakers, and I'm not really within their base, so I could be completely wrong about, what went wrong. But something tells me that right now, with where they're at and how well they're playing, I mean, I know they won and it looks like they won the last 2 games that they played, but even still, I mean, when you take a look at only 3 guys, and those 3 guys can't play well together, like, how can you expect them to win a championship when your 3 stars on your team can't play well together? If that makes sense. So that's kind of my take on the Lakers and why I think that they're probably not going to be making it very far. Denver Nuggets, kind of the same deal. I mean, they've had let's see. Nikola Jokic has had some injuries. Aaron Gordon has had some injuries. Jamal Murray's had some injuries. And, I mean, there's a lot of injuries from the stars across the league that are potentially putting them in jeopardy of not being able to make end of season awards. And I don't know I don't really know what the status is of the main players at the moment that could still be in the running, but in terms of, what is it, the 65 game rule or something like that? Or was it 65? Let's see. So 20%. I believe that would be times 82. No. That'd be oh, okay, not shit. What is it, 65? Yeah. So 65 games is just under 80%. Yeah, so I want to say it's the 65 game rule where as long as you play more than 65 games in a season, you're still eligible for the end of season reward awards when it comes to like MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Sixth Man of the Year, all that other stuff. So, where was I going with that? I don't know. I lost my train of thought there. I mean, yeah, it's cool. It's cool that they got the play in to add more teams to the playoffs and stuff like that, but it's really unfortunate that in the NBA, I mean, even at this point of the season, it's like there's clear front runners. There's clear front runners, and there's clear, yeah, these teams are not watchable. Like, I mean, it sucks to say that, but I mean that's the reality of the situation. I mean, and that's in both conferences. Like, I mean, the Pacers have just had really bad luck with Halliburton being out. But also, I mean, to me, it's very clear that the Pacers were just relying on Halliburton to even get them to an NBA Finals a season ago, and now they're basically fighting. I mean, it sounds bad, but they're basically fighting for worst team in the league right now, which is, it's crazy how one injury to a star player can basically collapse a team. And what's even crazier is even with the Dallas Mavericks even getting the number one pick a season ago, because they, my personal opinion, made the dumbest trade in the entire NBA history in trading Luka Doncic to the Lakers for Anthony Davis. I mean, I thought it was pretty bad at the time, and you know, I mean, to this point now, Anthony Davis is over with the Washington Wizards now. So, there you go. But anyhow, I mean, they're still sitting at bottom 5 worst in the West right now. It's insane. What else did I want to cover today? But yeah, in terms of predictions right now, if I were to predict the Eastern Conference Finals, I mean, I don't know. I'd probably be wrong, but I would probably say it's probably going to be between the Pistons and the Knicks. Or if it's not them, it's probably going to be Pistons and Celtics. I mean, the Cleveland Cavaliers got a good pickup in James Harden. We'll see what happens over the next few weeks, how well that ends up working out for the Cavs and how well they play against the Pistons in particular. But, I mean, I can't not pick the Pistons at this point to be at least the front runner to make the Eastern Conference Finals. And then out of the Western Conference, it's clearly going to be the Thunder against the Spurs, in my opinion. Very clearly. Just both these teams have been playing well. I mean, even regards of whether or not they've had injuries on their team or not, they've just been finding ways to win, whether on the road or at home. It's It's just clear as day. I think, yeah. I mean, and I could be wrong because the Spurs have had the Thunder's number for the majority of this season as well. I think the record between the Spurs and the Thunder is like 4-1 in favor of the Spurs. So, I mean, who knows what the playoff series is going to look like between these two, but if this regular season is any indicator, the Spurs might end up making the NBA Finals, which is crazy to think about, but in order to be the champ or be in contention for the championship, you got to beat the champ. And so far, OKC has not disappointed in terms of making a statement in terms of people saying, hey, okay, that was an MLB thing that I did not know. But anyhow, yeah, Spurs and Thunder. My prediction coming out of the West, I'm going to say Pistons and Knicks coming out of the East, maybe. I don't know. We'll see it. We'll see what the next couple of weeks hold, but I want to say the Celtics might actually... It might end up being Pistons and Celtics. We'll see. But... yeah. It's also March, which means March Madness is going to be coming up here pretty soon, it looks like. So, and I think Selection Sunday is actually this Sunday, I believe. Bracketology. Whoa, hello. Ooh, Indiana might be the first team out, it looks like. Ooh. The bracket. So, according to Bracketology on ESPN, it looks like the number 1 seeds are going to be Arizona, Florida, Duke, and Michigan. This is as of 8:43 a.m. on a Tuesday, March 10th. A lot of these are projections. How are some of these even confirmed? I don't understand that. I might have to do a little bit more digging, but anyhow, the number 1 seeds, Arizona, Florida, Michigan, and Duke. Number 2 seeds, if I can find them, Michigan State, UConn, Illinois, and Houston. 3 seeds, Alabama, Nebraska, Iowa State, and Purdue. 4 seeds, Texas Tech and Kansas, Gonzaga and Virginia, which, I mean, of course Gonzaga is going to find a way in, right? And let's see. We did 4, 5. Where are my 5 seeds at? St. John's and Tennessee, and Arkansas and Vanderbilt. 6 seeds, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Louisville and BYU. 7 seeds, Miami, St. Mary's, Villanova, Kentucky. 8 seeds, Utah State, UCLA, Clemson and Georgia, 9 seeds St. Louis and Ohio State. TCU and Texas A&M. 10 seeds Iowa, NC State. Missouri and Texas. 11 seeds VCU, Auburn, UCF. Santa Clara, SMU, and Miami, Ohio. Which, from what I've heard, I think Miami, Ohio has a 30-0 record or something like that. Something completely insane. Well, let's see. Any new teams I'm not familiar with? UMBC. But they've been a typical 16 seed, I think. Or at least a very high seeding in terms of numbers. Oh, automatic qualify. Oh, okay. Well, then how are some of these confirmed automatic qualifiers? Also, Lehigh is a new team that they just added. Now, anyway, this is not the final bracket. Is this not Champ Week? Yeah, because next Tuesday, right? Am I looking at the calendar? I'm looking at the calendar correctly, right? Yeah, next week is first four, which is crazy. Ooh. That's crazy to think about. It's insane. I don't even know. It's crazy that it's coming up on us that quickly, which means Selection Sunday is what the heck? Why can I not? So it would be the 15th. Selection Sunday is coming up this Sunday. I don't know the timing though, because I don't know if it's gonna tell me on here, which means that this week is Champ Week. So a lot of big games coming out of the college basketball realm. Looks like EWU is going to be playing against Idaho. We got Gonzaga playing against, what is that? What is that? Santa Clara. Take a look at their schedule, actually. Got a lot of games. A lot of huge games this week. I mean, I don't even really follow college basketball all that much. I just enjoy the March Madness, because you never know who's going to win out of the big bracket. Such a fun time of year, you know? See if we get some more breaking news here from 13 minutes ago. Breaking news: Bills agree to terms with tight end Dawson Knox for a 3-year deal. Reporting from Tom Pelissero. I think that's how you say his last name. This is coming out of the NFL Live from X. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all the new news. Other than, yeah, we already covered that as soon as that broke as well. Gonna be continuing to follow. But yeah, just so you guys know, we are gonna be continuing to follow along with this as more updates come through. So yeah, so that and more coming up. Let's see. Let me see if I can't get some updates from what do we got coming out of DC? World Peace and Economic Stability. Where? Here, hang on. Let me see if there's anything new on Truth Social here. Oh. Nothing other than the recent thing that he sent from like 15 hours ago. I don't really know if I can do the voice, but I mean, do you guys do you guys care whether or not I try to at least do the voice or not? I don't know. But yeah, that was as of 5:30 p.m. last night. So, I mean, you guys probably already know this. I don't think there's any new news coming out of the U.S. Attacks on Iran. So, according to BBC, headline reports Hegseth says today will be most intense of U.S. war on Iran as people in Tehran describe strikes to BBC. As of 10 minutes ago, gas and oil prices dropped but are still elevated. Wow. Smoke rises over Tehran and Beirut. I think that's how you say that. By the way, this is allegedly reporting from BBC.com. I'll try to go back and use other websites as well. Quick reminder, some of the main moves on the financial markets today. Okay, so I mean, I can, here, let me just add some of these links down in the description real quick, just in case you guys want to follow along. We'll just have to take a listen to that later. Pat McAfee shows live, nice. I took a look at that, but I don't think we really need to add that. Save the changes there. Oh man. All right. But it doesn't sound like there's it doesn't look like there's a lot of different. Oh, never mind. So there has been some strikes on Tehran earlier this morning. Of its border with Lebanon. Dang, those are some massive tanks. UK prices have decreased since. This is according to BBC, by the way. And I'm just kind of reading this off of their website here. UK prices have decreased since they peaked on Monday, but are still hovering just above 120p per thermal unit. Prices were 70 to 90 before the conflict started. So it's skyrocketed by I think P means pesos. I don't know. Oh, recent update. Oh, geez. BBC Persian. Let's go to New York Times. Live updates. U.S. warns of most intense strikes on Iran as it eases limits on Russian oil. Here's the latest. As Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, I can't talk this morning. As Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth vowed that Tuesday would be the most intense day of American strikes against Iran since the start of the war, the Trump administration has started to loosen restrictions on Russian oil exports in a bid to temper rising gas prices. It was the latest signal that the consequences of the U.S.-Israeli war in Iran were cascading into other crises. I don't even know if I said that right, but whatever. The easing of Russian oil sanctions, which were intended to help force an end to the war in Ukraine, includes a 30-day waiver for India to buy Russian oil already at sea without retaliation from Washington. Treasury Secretary Scott, I don't know how to say his last name, I'm sorry, has said the United States was considering lifting more sanctions on Russian oil, probably to try to alleviate how much gas has gone up. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I know in my state it has definitely gone back up to over $4 a gallon. So, 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 so not great. But And that was the latest as of 31 minutes ago. It's 6:03 in Tel Aviv and 7:33 in Tehran. Wow, they got two different time zones over in Iran. That's crazy. Or no. That's an hour and a half difference. Wow, I'm way behind the ball. Updated a minute ago. No new posts. We can just add this in here as well. Why not? Why not add that in here? Just so that you guys can follow along. Yeah, I really don't have a ton of insight on this. Other than I will say that I was originally incorrect. I know I was skeptical of the attacks at first, just because I had originally thought that since, okay, they called it a special military operation and gave it a name and whatnot, that I kind of figured it'd be the same as what we did in Venezuela, where it was just like, oh, we're just going to be in, we're going to do a bunch of different strikes or whatever. And because it's Iran, obviously we're going to handle it a little bit differently because, as far as I'm aware, the whole Ayatollah has been shouting death to America since 1979. I could be incorrect about the year of that, so please double check if I'm right or incorrect on that. But, and obviously we were going to handle them a little bit differently, just because we don't want a country that's been shouting death to a superpower to have nuclear capabilities to take out said superpower that they've been shouting death to for years. It's an interesting situation, because I was original. I mean, and again, I'm gonna apologize because when it first started coming out in terms of the news that we were not only bombing Iran, but we ended up killing their supreme leader. I was just skeptical and not really originally wanting to jump to conclusions that this is a war, so to speak. And then everybody else started making their headlines saying U.S.-Israeli war with Iran and all this other stuff like that. And so having to walk that back just because, I was just a little bit late to the game and didn't realize that, okay, the way that we are handling this is way different from Venezuela, and it's not a quick in and out situation where, at least with Venezuela, we just took their leader. We're out of there now, and whereas Iran, there have been hints at the possibility of their, or at least, I could be completely wrong, so don't quote me on this. I have heard that, at least from X, that there has been the possibility of there being boots on the ground in Iran, but I don't think that that's actually going to be possible, or that's actually going to happen, because it just sounds like there's just going to be a bunch of strikes that are going to be happening And yes, there have been some casualties. I believe the death toll remains at 6, I believe. Let me double check this real quick. U.S. casualties. Death toll up to 7. $1,255 Iranians killed, 12,000 wounded. To the U.S. is 7. Looks like we're on day 9 of these attacks. Now, say what you will. Say what you will, but American soldiers fight and die for America. And they fight and die for the president. The notion that these soldiers are fighting and dying for other countries' causes or whatever is idiocy on its face. And that's kind of the that's one of the reasons why I'm a little bit hesitant to really just even. Because how do I explain this? So, as a country, and as the United States, we have an obligation to protect America. Just like any other country has an obligation to protect its own country. The U.S. is finding ways to continue its national security through different means, and with and obviously with certain allies wanting to go in and make attacks. From what I have heard, I don't know how much of this is true or not, but it sounds to me like, I guess, is the Israelis were wanting to go in and fight the Iranians, whether we were going to go in with them or not. And I guess some people have been touting that is why we started to get involved, because we don't want to be a country that leaves our allies hanging when they go against enemies. Which, some people are touting that this is World War III, yada yada yada. Who knows? Who knows what this ends up being? But for all intents and purposes, it's just, yeah. I mean, it's just idiocy on its face to suggest that the brave men and women in uniform that go overseas for whatever the reason may be, that they're not fighting for America, they're fighting for somebody else, it's ridiculous. Let me see if I can't change the subject a little bit, because I'm trying to find the right words to say, but for some reason I can't find the right verbiage at the moment. I mean, it's tough, and you never want to see fighting, you never want to see death. It's just a hard discussion to really come across. I mean, that's really the best that I can really describe it at the moment. I mean, and it sounds like, as of right now, that their recently appointed supreme leader has lasted a lot longer than the previous leaders before him. Caroline Lovett has a press briefing at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So we'll be tuning into, I guess I'll try to tune into that. White House press briefing. No, that's yesterday. What about today? Oh, wait, was that from yesterday? Was that from yesterday? Oh no, that was posted 2 hours ago, so it is going to be today. So I'm going to try to queue up that. No. Okay, and then 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Oh, quick math. So 11. So in like 2 hours. Okay, so we got defeated. This is Pete Hegseth from the White House.
In an overwhelming display of technical skill and military force. We will not relent until the enemy is totally and decisively defeated. But we do so on our timeline and at our choosing. For example, today will be yet again our most intense day of strikes inside Iran. The most fighters, the most bombers, the most strikes. Intelligence more refined and better than ever. So that's on one hand. On the other hand, the last 24 hours have seen Iran fire the lowest number of missiles they've been capable of firing yet. As President Trump declared yesterday, we're crushing the enemy in an overwhelming...
Interesting. Department of War. Well, the press briefing of the Pentagon. Yeah. Okay, so that's kind of the best news that I can really get you guys right now. How do because I know that they're trying to pass it. Save America Act. Here we go. HR 7296. 119th. Introduced in House, referred to House, Committee on House Administration. This was at the end of January. This bill requires individuals to provide documentary proof of U.S. citizenship when registering to vote and requires photo identification to vote in federal elections. Specifically, the bill prohibits states from accepting and processing an application to register to vote in a federal election unless the applicant presents documentary proof of U.S. citizenship. The bill specifies the Save America Act bill that President Trump was touting in the State of the Union to basically urge Congress, both House and Senate, to pass. And it looks like, as of right now, there are related bills. Save Act got received in the Senate back in April of last year, and back in January of last year, two similar bills had been read twice to the Committee on Rules and Administration, but according to Congress.gov, it looks like no further actions were taken on said bills, which is unfortunate. So right now it's in the introduced stage, it looks like, so I guess I'm going to try to keep an eye on that as well as it continues to go through different actions taken. Hopefully it can start getting to the House floor and yeah, hopefully it can get passed in the House, and hopefully it can get passed in the Senate, and then signed into law, because as far as I'm aware, maybe I could be wrong about this, but there are so many other countries outside of the U.S. that proof of citizenship or ID to vote in our federal elections. In mail-in ballots across states and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of fraud, more so in the mail-in ballots than there is in person. I personally want to vote in person. I would rather vote in person because I think there are a lot of Americans, including myself, that are very capable of going to a ballot box and casting a vote. That is a privilege, regardless of what country you're born and raised in. It is a privilege to vote in elections. And since, obviously, being born and raised in America is a privilege to cast votes in elections. Now, there's certain elections that I haven't casted a vote in, which I could be better about. And my reasons are not very valid reasons. But for some people, voting in elections is not top priority. I'm not saying that wasn't for me, but just a very tough situation as to why this is a controversial issue. How is wanting to make sure that people are legally, not only legal citizens voting in our election, but how is that even just a controversial, how is that controversial at all? I don't, and maybe I'm just short-minded. Maybe I'm short-minded, maybe I don't know exactly why. That's actually kind of funny. Could have been a normal day enjoying. Wait, what? So, sorry, for those on audio, I just kind of stopped talking and started reading a post from, is it a post or is it a repost? It's a post by Benny Johnson on X, and it's quoting a CNN post. It says, 2 Pennsylvania teenagers crossed into New York City Saturday morning for what could have been a normal day, enjoying the city during abnormally warm weather, but in less than an hour their lives would be drastically changed as the pair would be arrested for throwing homemade bombs during an anti-Muslim protest outside of Mayor Mamdani's home. Here's what we know so far. They post the link, yada yada yada. Today, CNN posted, and Benny Johnson writes, today CNN posted an article trying to whitewash the Islamic NYC attackers as, quote, teenagers just visiting New York City. CNN has since deleted this article after massive backlash on social media. NYC is in very bad hands with Mom Dami and the MSN covering for his failures. According to Benny Johnson over on X. It's interesting to me. I mean, according to Ben Johnson, it sounds like they have since deleted this article due to backlash. See if I can't. What is it? CNN.it. Just want to double check to make sure that this is correct. I think that's what it... So, okay, so they haven't taken it down necessarily. Updated an hour and a half ago. But their headline has changed to what we know about the two terror suspects accused of tossing makeshift bombs near NYC mayor's home. Well, so they weren't wrong in... I mean, they weren't wrong in calling them teenagers, per se. But to say that they were just there for a normal visit, enjoying the city, that's downplaying what actually happened. Go away. The two are charged with providing material support to a terrorist organization, use of a weapon of mass destruction, transportation of explosive materials, unlawful possession of destructive devices, and interstate transportation and receipt of explosives. This is according to CNN. How authorities say the attack unfolded. An anti-Islam protest organized by Jake Lang attracted about 20 people on Saturday. It was soon dwarfed by a counter-protest called Drive the Nazis Out of New York, which peaked at 125 participants. The group stated designated areas, but tensions escalated when a protester from Lang's group pepper sprayed counter-protesters around 12:15 p.m. 20 minutes later, one of the suspects threw an ignited device toward the protest area, which landed on a crosswalk Videos showed protesters and police quickly scatter to avoid the device. Witnesses reported seeing flames and smoke as it traveled through the air before it struck a barrier and extinguished itself a few feet from police officers. Suspect ended up retrieving a second device from his buddy before lighting it and starting to run. Suspect dropped the second device on the street where several police officers were standing, and he ran. According to the device appeared to emit smoke but also did not explode. So two failed, thankfully failed bomb. Oh my gosh. NYC is cooked. NYC is cooked. Oh my goodness, but thankfully those makeshift bombs that were created didn't blow. Oh my goodness. I mean, could you imagine what the chaos would have been had those exploded? And possibly taken lives? Like, jeez. Like, that's crazy, man. Both suspects cited ISIS, a terrorist group that has seen a resurgence in years, according to criminal complaint filed in federal court on Monday. That's insane, dude. I mean, granted, there's probably plenty of them that have crossed the border over the past 4 years under Biden. Thanks to the open border policy, this is what happens. You get people that hate America, but yet want to come over to America for some reason. And want to instill nothing but violence. It's insane. Side note, also breaking news from the NFL as of 16 minutes ago, linebacker Quincy Williams signed with the Cleveland Browns to a 2-year, $13 million deal with $9 million guaranteed. That's crazy. I probably should have just done this, but oh well. But yeah. I mean, the stats don't lie, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like from this is a post from America on X. It's a photo that says, "Do you support or oppose proposed Save America Act that would require proof of citizenship to register to vote, require voter ID, require states to remove non-citizens from their voting rolls, and require states to share unredacted voting rolls with Department of Homeland Security?" 70, according to the pie chart that is showing on here, 71% support, 29% oppose. It looks like, I want to say that that's Democrats that are 50-50. Looks like Republicans 91% support, only 9% oppose it. And then across independents, 69% support it, 31% oppose. So I don't know. Oh, this is out of everybody as a whole. The pie chart out of everybody as a whole: 71% support, 29 oppose, and then of those that were polled, those that were Democrats are split down the middle in terms of support and oppose, and then Republicans mostly support this, and then obviously and then independents of that. So just kind of scrolling through. For extra proof, looks like CNN's. This video is also from America's X. Bottom line, quote, "The bottom line is this: voter ID is not controversial in this country."
Okay, what's the racial breakdown on this, right? Because I think a lot of people make the argument that people of color, non-white Americans, have a harder time procuring a photo ID to vote. But even here, take a look here. Favorite photo ID to vote. 85% of white people favor it. 82% of Latino. 76% of black Americans favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is not controversial in this country. A photo ID to vote is not controversial in this country. It is not controversial by party, and it is not controversial by race. The vast majority of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj that, in fact, you should have a photo ID to be able to vote. Okay, what's the...
Yeah, I mean, one of the main key points that Trump ended up talking about in the State of the Union, that was one of many 80-20 issues, if you will, was the fact that, yes, Save America Act is basically saying, hey, we need to put voter ID, and that's 100% correct. 100% correct. We've been having this whole interesting system for far too long, and federal elections in particular, we need American citizens voting in federal elections, not just anybody. Let me get back to the top. No, he did not. Blamed white supremacy? Really? face. Way to go, NYPD. Way to go. Can I, start that from the beginning?
This was a vile protest rooted in white supremacy entitled Stop the Islam.
Oh my word. So, another video posted by Ben Johnson over on X. His post reads, Mayor Mondami blamed white supremacy Monday for the recent ISIS-inspired Islamic attack on NYC. Mondami then posted a photo of himself having dinner with his anti-Semitic wife and Mahmoud Khalil, a man who incited violence against Jews at Columbia University and praised Hamas. So, we'll take a listen to what Mondami has to say here. I'm assuming it's not great.
This was a vile protest rooted in white supremacy entitled Stop the Islamic Takeover of New York City. I'm the first Muslim mayor of our city. Anti-Muslim bigotry is nothing new to me, nor is it anything new for the 1 million or so Muslim New Yorkers who know this city as our home. While I found this protest appalling, I will not waver in my belief that it should be allowed to happen. Ours is a free society where the right to peaceful protest is sacred. It does not belong only to those we agree with. It belongs to everyone. I will defend that right every day that I am mayor, even when those protesting say things that I abhor. Let me also be clear about something else. New York City will never tolerate violence, whether from protests.
Okay, well then that means that this has nothing to do with white supremacy, because I'm just gonna to say that this has anything to do with white supremacy is idiotic on its face, because the protests were peaceful until this. I mean, as of right now, as of the information that I know, as of 9:49 a.m. on March 10th on a Tuesday, as of right now, as far as the research goes, the protests from both groups before these alleged bombs were thrown by the suspects that have now been apprehended, as far as I'm aware anyway, the protests were peaceful until these bombs were thrown. Allegedly. And then that's when basically chaos started to ensue. I'm assuming that the perpetrators of violence are now apprehended. Because just looking at this, I'm assuming that, yeah, okay. I'm assuming that they're apprehended now. But I don't know. I don't know what Mondami is trying to prove by saying that. I have an idea that it's just a leftist talking point at this point. It's just idiotic on its face that you would just say that it's somehow in relation to white supremacy in some way, shape, or form, even though the two guys that were in it all are not even white, which is crazy. Or, excuse me, the two people that were inciting violence weren't even white. They were part of the ISIS caliphate. Anyhow, Looks like gas is almost $9 a gallon in California. Or it's $8.22 per gallon in LA, California. As of 2 days ago, 7:22 p.m. That's Pacific Standard Time in California. Crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, jeez. Turning Point Action, we miss you every day, Charlie. 6 months without the man who helped shape America. Yikes. Right after being granted asylum, Iranian women threw away the huge middle finger to all regime propagandists and Islamists who told us Iranian women wear hijab because of their own choosing. Yeah. Just kind of looking through X at the moment. Before I continue though, I'll be right back again. I gotta grab some more water, so. Did I miss anything from my lineup at all? Not really. Let's see. Once again, I really appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. I think I turned it off, right? Yeah. Really appreciate all the follows that are hitting over on Kick. Really appreciate those of you guys that are tuning in to the stream from wherever you may be, however you may be watching the show. Happy Tuesday to each and every single one of you. This is some interesting times that we live in, and I think America a post regarding the 2 individuals arrested for throwing homemade bombs outside the New York City marriage home failed to reflect the gravity of the incident, thereby breaching the editorial standards we require for all our reporting, and has therefore been deleted. The post of them saying this has been deleted, but their article, as I kind of referred to back earlier, is still live. What the heck? Man, I wonder why my stuff is just all grainy and it's not doing so well. I wonder if I try just doing one. Maybe if I try just doing one stream instead of trying to do multiple. I guess for those of you that are on YouTube and are watching me live on YouTube, please, if you haven't already, please head on over to Rumble or X or Kick. I'm going to try to lower the amount of places that I'm going live at, because from what I'm seeing, it doesn't really look good on your guys' end, so I'm going to try to make it so that at least the quality of the video is better for you guys. That way when I get through clips and stuff like that, it looks better on your guys' end.